The Visa Bulletin shows you which green card applications can move forward based on when you filed your I-130 or I-140 petition. So how do you read the Visa Bulletin? Which charts do you use? And what happens when your priority date becomes current? All that and more in today's video. For more updates like this, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. Let's back up and talk about what the Visa Bulletin is and who it's for. Step 1 of filing a green card for a family member is filing Form I-130, and the employment equivalent to that is Form I-140. Everyone can do this part right away. If you are the spouse, parent, or unmarried child under the age of 21 of a U.S. citizen, you can move on to the next step right away. And if you're in the U.S. looking to adjust your status, you can file Form I-130 and I-485 at the same time. There is no annual limit on how many green cards can be issued to these family members of U.S. citizens. Therefore, there is no backlog for them and they do not need to look at the Visa Bulletin. For everyone else, there is a limit on how many green cards are available every year. There are 226,000 green cards available for family categories, and these are broken down further by family relationship. Then there are 140,000 green cards available for those applying for green cards through employment. Every year, there are more people seeking green cards than the number of green cards available. This is what creates a backlog and the reason the Visa Bulletin exists. The date your I-130 or I-140 is filed is called your priority date, and this date represents your place in line for a green card. You can find this date on the I-797 notice, which you receive soon after filing your green card application. To make things even more complicated, Congress limits the percentage of green cards available to any one country of origin. One country of origin cannot have more than 7% of green cards available to it in any category. For countries like India or China that have a lot of people applying for green cards, this has created a massive backlog. Whereas if you're from a country like the Netherlands that has fewer green card applicants, the line moves much faster. This means that someone from India or China, it could take them 10 years to get a green card, whereas someone from a country like the Netherlands could get their green card in the same category in 3 years. So that's the background on the Visa Bulletin. Every month, the State Department releases the Visa Bulletin so you can see how the dates are progressing in all family and employment categories, and that lets you see where you are in the line for a green card. Now, people constantly ask lawyers to predict when their priority dates are going to become current. That is a very difficult question to answer. Lawyers can look at their clients' past experiences and give you a very rough range, but really nobody can predict the future. The USCIS is constantly changing with new policies and workloads and processing times, and the past is not always a great indicator of the future. Now, let me show you how to read the charts in the Visa Bulletin and what to expect when your priority date becomes current. In the family charts, you'll see on the left-hand side category titles such as F1, F2A, and right above these charts, you'll see a description of the family relationships that each one of these letters represents. For example, F2A is for green card holders sponsoring their spouses. Then the top row has country names and one column titled All Chargeability Areas except those listed. This is your country of origin, but it is your country of birth that is used and not your citizenship. For most people, that is one and the same, but for some people, that could be different and could make a huge difference in their wait times. So if you're not born in India, China, Mexico, or the Philippines, you would look at that first column titled All Chargeability Areas. Now, if you see a C next to your category and country, this means that there is currently no backlog and there is an immigrant visa available. So if you're just at the beginning of your process and about to sponsor a family member that is currently living in the U.S. legally, then you can file Form I-130 and 485 at the same time. If you're outside the U.S., this means that your case is ready for consular processing and the National Visa Center will get in touch with you about next steps. If you don't see a C and see a date instead, let's take this one as an example, July 2015, this means that your priority date must be July 8, 2015 or earlier in order for you to move on to the next step. So if your date is, let's say, August 10, 2016, then you cannot move on to the next step and you have to keep watching the Visa Bulletin to see when they get to that date for your category. This is how all the charts work, employment categories as well as the family categories. Let's talk about the difference between the dates for filing chart and the final action date chart. The easiest way to remember this is if you are living in the US and waiting to file Form I-485, you will look at the final action date chart unless the Visa Bulletin tells you otherwise. If you live abroad and are waiting for consular processing, then you will look at the dates for filing chart. Every month, if there are more immigrant visas available than the number of applicants, the USCIS will let you use the dates for filing chart for adjustment of status applications. In the Visa Bulletin, there will be a link that takes you to a page that looks like this. As you can see in this month, the bulletin directed all family categories except F2A to use the dates for filing chart for adjustments of status applications. Now on to a question that I get asked a lot. What happens when my priority date becomes current? By current, we mean either you see a C next to your category or the priority date that you've been waiting on has arrived in the chart. Once your priority date becomes current, you have 1 year to take the next step. If you don't, the USCIS will assume that you no longer want a green card and move on to the next person in line. If you are in the US waiting to file an adjustment of status application, you simply go ahead and file Form I-485 to get your green card. If you are outside the US, the National Visa Center, or the NVC, uses this chart to initiate next steps. After your I-130 is approved, your case gets sent to the NVC, where it takes them about 2 to 4 weeks to get you in the system and assign you a case number. Then the case sits there until you get to your priority date or your category becomes current. Then the NVC will send you a welcome letter that notifies you that you can now apply for an immigrant visa at the local US consulate or embassy. This will also allow you to schedule a visa interview at the consulate. This letter will have your case number and invoice number. You will need these numbers to go online and fill out the visa application and proceed with next steps. If you do not hear from the NVC and you're getting worried that you haven't yet gotten your welcome letter, you can inquire about your case directly online through a link that they provide. I'll share the link in the description below. Okay, that's everything you need to know. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button below, subscribe to our channel, and share this with anyone trying to understand the Visa Bulletin. I'll see you in the next video.